Hi there, this is my review of the AEG Rapido Handheld Cordless Vacuum Cleaner. This model is AG5112. In the video what I'm going to do is show you the vacuum cleaner, tell you what I think of it, and then at the end I'm going to put in maybe a minute's worth of clips that I filmed of me using it so you can see how strong the suction is and how noisy it is. Just to warn you that my dog is barking through most of those clips. I would have put her outside, but it was raining, so she was accompanying me as I was filming them, and unfortunately she hasn't warmed to this vacuum cleaner very much. But there you go. Anyway, getting onto the vacuum cleaner. It's a fairly chunky, sturdy, weighty vacuum cleaner. Not so weighty that it's uncomfortable to use though. So you've got on the top your on-off button, a button to release the dirt chamber so you can empty it out and wash it out. One nice feature is that these little wheels that it has here, so when you are cleaning on certain surfaces you can sort of rest it down while you're cleaning it. And these wheels are covered in a sort of felty coating, so if you are on a hard surface it should protect that from any scratches. The end is reasonably broad, so it can clean a fairly decent sized area while you're using it, but you've also got the option of pulling out this nozzle, which is a feature that I think is really handy. One thing you do have to make sure you do is pull it out really firmly, so that it's definitely sort of lodged into place, because if you don't, if you then use it on abrasive kind of surfaces like carpet, it does push back in and you have to keep pulling it out. So you do need to pull that out really, really firmly. So that gives you this kind of smaller, longer area of suction, which you can then get into smaller spaces. You can really get up against the edges of rooms, edges of the carpet, and it's really handy, this little nozzly bit, for getting into the backs of drawers and into the corners of cupboards and things like that, areas where it's quite awkward to get a regular vacuum cleaner pipe. Another attachment that you get is this little brush attachment, which just slots in there, and that's really handy for doing things like skirting boards, like so, or anything that you want to sort of protect a bit from the plastic so that it doesn't get scratched. The nozzle as well, incidentally, is really handy for getting at the tops, on sort of the tops of things that you can't easily reach onto, behind pot plants, just in any sort of awkward corners or crevices. I do need to give that a bit of a whack to get it back in. But other than that, that's pretty much everything I want to tell you about the vacuum cleaner. So I'll tell you now about the charging unit. So this is your charging unit. I'm just going to adjust that angle slightly. Just to mention that little brush attachment I showed you lives in the charging unit here. I don't know, I think it would be easier if they made some kind of area on here where it could live, so that you can carry it around with you when you're cleaning, as it's a bit inconvenient to have to come back to the charger if you decide that you need to use the brush. But that's just just a thought. Anyway, so this is your charger unit. It is wall mountable. I didn't get any screws or anything with mine, so if you do want to mount it, you may need to provide them yourself. So it's really easy. It just slots onto the charger like so. That's how it would look on your wall, roughly, if you want to mount it, which I guess you may want to. I'm not really interested in mounting it myself, but it certainly might be handy in certain situations. It also has this button on the side here, which means you can arrange it at different heights. So you can have it like that if it's easier for you to grab, or whatever, or there's a few sort of different settings like so. I've got to be honest, I don't really understand why you would want that, but it's a feature that may appeal to some people. So that's the charger unit. So to empty the vacuum cleaner out, it's really easy. Just hold the button down there to release this part of the vacuum cleaner, which is all washable, by the way. It explains in the instructions that you'll receive how to do that. Remove this inside section. You can then empty out this chamber and wash it if you want to. I'll just pop that there for now. And then you've got two filters which you need to separate just by sort of pulling them apart. So there's one of the filters, and then you've got another filter here with a spring which you can pull and release to sort of help release some of the dust from that filter before you brush it and clean it, wash it if you choose to. They just clip back together and then go back into that chamber, and then the whole thing just oh, there we go, clips back together. It's really straightforward. So all in all, I'm pretty pleased with this machine. I think if you have a realistic expectation of what a rechargeable battery powered machine will do, it's worth considering. It's not going to give you the kind of suction that a mains powered machine does, but it's not a mains powered machine. For all the things that I tried it for, suction has been perfectly adequate to clean them up. Things like dry messes, and by that I mean crumbs, bits of dry dead leaf and twigs, dried mud off the bottom of boots, hairs, bits of paper, it's cleaned them up really with ease. With the nozzle attachment, as I said, it's really handy to use in the backs of drawers and the backs of cupboards. It's really useful if you've got a car for cleaning in there. And it's really handy as well with the nozzle for sort of cleaning in the sofa when you've taken the cushions off and getting some of those bits and crumbs and bits and bobs out, if you don't want to use your main hoover to do that. It's just a really handy item to have for quick clean-up jobs. And I think if you've got a realistic expectation, like I said, of the kind of jobs that it's capable of doing, I think you'll be fairly happy with it.